topic. Money, right? How to be a good, whatever, husband, father, whatever later on when you grow up. So 6 minutes typically, that kind of conversation, right? Sitting together and telling your son to, change the channel, 22, 30, 54, it's not teaching your kids math, you know what I mean? It's just like, those are the sports channel, by the way, in case you don't know, right? And I grew up and my dad was never really around, and he lived in the S quadrant, small business, and he made money on a 1-to-1 ratio. As a matter of fact, he had to work harder. Yes, he made more money, but he definitely had no time. And here's the funny thing: we all know that time is more important than money, but yet we give that up to make money, right? And people that are wealthy, they realize that this is the most, like, if you can make money, if you lose money, you lose whatever, you can make it back. But you can never recapture time, right? Yesterday is gone. Steve Jobs, he has billions of dollars, he can't cash it to buy more life. Does that make sense? So I want you to understand how valuable that is, and when you're young, you take it for granted, right? There's a saying that life is like a roll of toilet paper, right? The closer you get towards the end, the faster it goes. Okay? So in the beginning, you're just like, you don't really care. You just, I got plenty, right? As soon as you get towards the end, you're like, oh crap, right? Stop using just the corners, and I think that's how life is, and most people don't really think of it that way. We take it for granted. We don't think long term. We think short term, right? We think just paycheck to paycheck instead of thinking 5 years, 10 years ahead of time. So, but in my dad's situation, when he had a stroke and he couldn't physically work anymore, right? And all of a sudden income stopped completely, right? And at whatever, 18 years old, I had to figure out how to support my whole family, And everything happens for a reason. And today I can connect the dots and say that was a blessing in disguise. However, majority of people never really experienced that or know anyone that experienced that, kind of hardship themselves. So they think that that's not going to happen to them. Adversity will happen in your life. It's not a question of if it's going to happen, it's when, right? So when it happens, are you prepared, right? You're either preparing or repairing, your past, if you will. Okay, so, but my dad didn't have a plan B. He put all his eggs in one basket, and that was it, right? So, and I never heard anything about the B quadrant, I quadrant. So, the best thing I did was I said, okay, well, I was going to school, so I was willing to work hard, so I was working 2 jobs, right, to support my parents. And the problem, though, is that it doesn't matter how hard I work. The more I make, the more I get taxed, right? We live in a progressive tax income here in Canada, and that creates an issue. And people that are a player, people that are a winner, you get frustrated really, really fast. I did that for about a year. And after a year, I just realized that, man, I have nothing to show for it. I'm exhausted, and I'm in my early 20s, and I can't imagine doing this for 40 years, right? I can't imagine having a family and not having time to be able to, spend with them. And so, most people that either they have a lot of time or they have a lot of money, but it's very rare to find people that have both, right? So we're going to talk about how you can create that through duplication, but, the mentality over here is that you're going to work from 25 to 65 years old, 40 hours a week for 40 years of your life, right? And, and hopefully after that 40 years of career, hopefully that you have this pile of money just sitting in your, garage, right? That you can slip off, you can swim in it and stuff, right? And, but at the end of the day, reality right now, most people don't have a pile. Most people have a hole, right? There's a lot of people that are in debt right now. So, now, the question is, after you turn 65, you don't have enough money to live off. How are you supposed to live? What do most people do? They continue to work. So there's no such thing as retirement for most people. Bank of Montreal actually went, on the streets of Vancouver, right? And they filmed everything, and they asked random people. So people are actually professional, that work downtown with the suit and everything. They asked random people assuming that, whatever, you're retiring in the next 5 years or so, what's your plan, right? And majority of people say, well, I already, know my plan. It's just rely on the pension, right? and they said, well, do you know how much CTP pays out today? And majority of people have no clue. They have this mindset where, well, it's basically the same as what I'm getting paid right now, which is not true, right? CTP right now pays roughly about $500 to $600 a month. So when they reveal the number to these people that are in their 40s, they were like, what, that's it? Right? And so now, knowing that, they were asked again, so now that that's not really an option at this point, so what's your plan? Right? Now this is what's shocking to me, okay? 40% of them, after knowing the reality, knowing that they still have time to make some changes in their life, they said, okay, well now my plan B has to be, winning a lottery. That's a plan B, honestly. And I mean, it's kind of sad, but people are so, I guess, brainwashed, if you want to call that, to think that there's only one way to make money, and that's it, right? So, and again, you've been programmed for how many years to think this way, so it's very difficult for me to talk in whatever 40 minutes or an hour to kind of talk to you that there's other options, but I believe that people don't know what they want until they know what's available. So that's what I'm here to do, is just to kind of show you what's available, because I don't know if you were like me, but I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, man, and I just, being broke too, and I think the problem is that when you're living paycheck to paycheck, you can only think about yourself. I became very, very selfish with my time and my money, right? Because every extra cash I have, right, I would rather spend it on myself.